Hello and welcome back to another day in the free-to-play arena. Hit the music. Just kidding. Alright, so what's been going on in the background behind the scenes? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the future of the free-to-play channel and the direction that the series is going to take. Thing number one that I've learned, the grind is hard. And if you grind every day, your free-to-play experience will be a lot different from somebody who's grinding every couple of days, or in my case, like 2 times a week. So I've started grinding about once a day on my free-to-play account to make sure I get my gold and my daily rewards, because stacking up that gold makes a big difference. I'm playing a lot of those games on my live streams on Twitch, so you can go to the Covert Go Live channel and check out some of those games in my live streams. But if you really want to, if you really want to, because I'm going to tell you the next thing I've learned about free-to-play. The grind is hard, and it's brutal, and I don't think that you want to watch all the games. I think if you actually got that wish of seeing me play every single game from my free-to-play account, all the way up to crafting decks, all the way up to Mythic someday, I think that you would be sad. I think you would get tired of it, because I'm going to fight hard enough just to keep doing it, and I'm the one playing the game. So I don't think that you need to see every game I play, especially grinding out gold, grinding out EXP. It's hard work, and you're going to spend a lot of time playing against decks that are much better than yours. I've been paired against meta decks in traditional, or not traditional, but play, just regular unranked play, where supposedly there's matchmaking for the amount of rares in your deck and all this other stuff, and I keep on playing against full-blown meta decks, people who obviously have done what they need to do to get a competitive deck and then are playing it in regular play for whatever reason. Seems like if I had one of those, I'd play ranked, but you know what, people do what they do. What can you do about it? Can't do anything about it. Try not to complain, just keep on moving. So I probably win about between 1 in 5 and 1 in 4, between 20 and 25% of those games. So most of the time I'm just getting smashed by people with better cards. We don't need to see all of that. All right, so where am I going with this? What am I trying to say? This is what's going to happen on the channel. There's going to be 2 kinds of videos. One is going to be crafting and tuning decks. I'm going to use a TLC approach to this. The T stands for tuning and the C stands for crafting. So we'll have videos built around tuning the free-to-play decks that we have and crafting new decks and cards to support those decks. So that's going to be this is going to be a tuning and crafting video. And then the L is going to stand for ladder. So that's my code, TLC. In R&B, it stands for tender love and care. In wrestling, it stands for tables, ladders, and chairs. And here on the CGB free channel, it's going to stand for tuning, ladder, and crafting. So there are going to be videos of just me with my crafted competitive decks playing the ladder, and there's going to be videos about getting the other decks ready and going through the mastery tree and tips and tricks about your free-to-play account. Maybe we'll also show drafting and do things of that nature as well. So let's jump in. I have been grinding for about 5 or 6 days. I have a gold stash. I have some mastery orbs to deploy. I have some packs to open. We're going to start this video by opening our packs using the mastery tree, and then we're going to work on the mono blue, because I told you we were going to work on our mono blue deck. And there will be some gameplay. Don't worry. After we work on our mono blue deck, we will play some games. So the first thing I'm going to do is crack some of these packs. Ta-da! We've got Master Splicer and Blood for Bones, which I think that's our second one. Maybe there's a Reanimator future in black. Soul Salvage is okay. Unsummon is probably good for our blue deck. And the card is, ooh, it's a good mythic. Cavalier of Thorns is a very powerful mythic rare. 5/6 reach for 5. Look at your top 5 cards, get a land, put the rest in the graveyard. When this dies, exile it, put a card from your graveyard on top of your library. Very constructed playable. A big hit. Big hit right there. Let's try another one. Woodland Champion is good for a token type strategy, which is usually green-white. This is like a Squadron Hawk type card. I don't think I'll ever play it. Maybe, who knows. free to play, I play a lot more things that I wouldn't have thought I would. And a wild card is great, of course. And another wild card is very great. Can't get unexcited about that. Speaking of wild cards, we've actually started to build them up. Thanks to the mastery tree, I have 16 common and 14 uncommon wild cards to go with 6 rare and 3 mythic from my grind. So now let's head over to mastery. We're up to level 25, which is... well, we're not up to level 25. We're here. We're working on that. And what we got to look at is all the things that came before it. So you see, once we got above level 20, we picked up these wild cards, then these wild cards, then these wild cards. Basically a whole vault of wild cards up here at level 20. So that's definitely something to go for. Whereas all the rest of along here was orbs, 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 and orbs. And I think we left you off somewhere like this in the last video. So you can see the grind has been happening in the background. So with all those orbs, let's work on the tree. We have 16 of them. That's going to unlock a lot of cards. But before we can even unlock something, we have to play a game with a blue deck. Well, playing a game is easy enough. Let's go ahead and look over the Azure Skies deck and that they give you. This is untouched. This is exactly as they give it to you. And the idea is to get some flyers down and kill the opponent in the air while blocking with some Wall of Runes, keeping the opponent from killing you. And just using blue. Basically, blue is all about the flying, and this deck is all about the flying. It's all in on a flying strategy. There's a little bit of tempo from Unsummon here, and Frostlinks can tap a creature so it doesn't attack you as quickly. Let's go play one game with it, completely untouched. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Since we're going to tune and work on it in a minute anyway, and we're going to unlock a bunch of cards, it seems like a bad time investment to improve it now for our one game. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and win. Winning could happen. Hand is sweet. I love it. Spectral Sailor has flash, which means we can cast it on our opponent's turn, usually at the end of their turn after they've made some plays. We'll show that off right now. Just because it lights up doesn't mean we have to play it right now. Red, the arch nemesis of blue. Our opponent likely has a shock and is going to kill this. You can tell by the stick, as I call it, when something like that happens, but no, maybe not. Alright, cool. Plus we have an Unsummon. I might be able to show you how we use that to return the Spectral Sailor to our hand and then replay it if the opponent tries to kill it. Ah, you are not just the nemesis, you are the combination of nemesis with ourselves. Is it? Red and blue. What would you like to do with that? Nothing? I will settle for nothing. Oh, we got him! People find mono blue annoying. What can I say? Okay, and we have our blue orb now. And lock it in. They've given us another Cloud Conceer, so sure, we'll just throw that in the deck. And now, what do you think? If we hit suggest pick, will it put the orb right here? Let's see. Oh yeah, that, of course, they love this idea. Confirm pick, for those of you who hate decisions. So that gets us some more flying nerds. Windstorm Drake, other creatures with flying, +1/+0. This creatures with flying cost you 1 less, I guess. Pile them in. And since we have all these mastery thingies, we're just gonna lock those in. Ew. And as a reminder, our plan is to unlock the mastery tree as much as possible, just to get all of the mastery tree and the decks, because there's a lot of free rares and equity there. And then after we get those, we'll start crafting. We'll work on building some competitive decks, and we'll get on the ladder. And that will be separate episodes of me battling the ladder on my free-to-play. All right. Mass Manipulation is a rare, negates a wonderful card. That was a pretty nice hit. And then this just shows off that we made a shiny Cloud Conceer. Sure, claimed. And now we have a deck available, House Demir. Blue-black control is definitely one of my favorite archetypes, so I am happy to unlock this and go check this deck out. So let's claim you. And we'll take a look at that in the very near future. Today we're going to work on mono blue because I promised to. Alrighty, looking around, this opt we got from a promo code is definitely a solid card for the deck. So let's get that in there. Unsummons, we have up to 4 of them. I thought there were 4 in the deck. The computer's been taking Unsummon back out of the deck. I don't get it. Anticipate's a card I really love. I don't know if it will make the final cut. Very Miscreant is great when you have multiples of this. Red is probably the most popular color in the meta, so playing a Cerulean Drake might be a good idea. Protection from red is really tough for them to beat. Mission Briefing is a fun rare, but I don't know how good it goes with our deck. We have a number of spells, but it's not, like, I don't know. Mission Briefing's an interesting card. It's a very fun card, but the effect of the Mission Briefing, what makes it good, is the power of the card you're flashing back. So you really want it to be like a 3, 4, 5 cost sorcery with a huge effect on the game, something of that nature. And I'm not seeing that right here, not yet. If I can come up with a good idea for what I want to bring back with the briefing, we're more likely to play it. Continuing to look around, this is a flyer that says when you cast a non-creature spell, +1/+0 until end of turn. It's not a terrible card, but we don't need it. It's running Negate. I'm all about running Negate, though. The Cloud Conceers are sweet. Getting a 2/1 flyer and drawing a card is fun, but if you remember, we opened Mu Yanling in our packs, our initial packs, and she is a Planeswalker, mythic rare, who makes 4/4 elementals with flying, and I certainly want to give her a shot. Moving right along, we've got Devious Cover-Up, which is too expensive for a counterspell in my opinion. Same with Bone to Ash, but we do have a Jace. So without question, I want to play that as well. Having a Jace Wielder of Mysteries in our mono blue deck seems very appropriate. We haven't been able to play with Planeswalkers too much. If we're going to go big on mana, Agent of Treachery is a sweet card to have. This card can steal the opponent's things over and over and is very, very fun in blue, and so is Mass Manipulation. We have a Teferi Time Raveler, which will almost certainly come into play as soon as we move into blue-white, but right now we're just on the mono blues. Now these cards showed up in that Dimir deck, which I'm thinking right now I shouldn't have crafted. I should have saved that for a separate video, so let's pretend they're not there. Let's not get distracted and focus on the mono blue. I don't see a lot of artifacts to sub in. I don't really want a Meteor Golem in the deck. If we want to handle permanents of any type, we'll use Agent of Treachery to steal them. What I want to do isn't, I want to get away from this kind of aggressive flying deck, and I'd like to play something more controlling because that's my playstyle. I don't know how that will work out with the cards that I have. I do know that this Verity Circle, if an opponent's creature becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. I think that card is far too narrow, as fun as it may look. I think that the Warden into Air Elementals and Windstorm Drakes is a neat thing that I don't really want to be doing, but I still have to fill the deck out with something. But yeah, I think I can pull out the Windstorm Drakes, pull out the Wardens, keep the Seers, and keep the Winged Words. That hopefully we can draw some extra cards with those, and with the Sailor. And what else? We have to cut one more card, probably an Air Elemental. It's an okay card, but it's not a great card. And I like keeping the Drake in just as a hedge against red. It's just a one-of. If we draw it against something else, that's not too bad. Wall of Runes can hopefully hold down the fort for us. But yeah, I'm going to trim one of the Air Elementals. I like to keep the Sphinx. The 6 mana 5/5 flyer, enter the battlefield, bounce something is pretty great. And my big dream, of course, is playing Agent of Treachery to steal a whole bunch of cool things, and then using Unsummon to return Agent of Treachery to my hand and doing it again, and again, and again. It'll be fun. Alright, I want to try this deck out. We have these sleeves from a promo code that we used, so, wait a minute. I said sleeves. There we go. And let's go play. This could be fun. Okay, this hand is slow, but we do get Mu Yanling on the play. So, I've never even cast her. I haven't cast her in the game. I don't have her on my pay-to-play account. That's how weird it is that I opened 2 of these. So, let's get right to it. Oh no. My opponent's deck is aggressive. Whatever will I do? Woe is me. If the opponent plays a second creature here, we're in a lot of trouble. We'll need to bounce one of them and then play Yanling and use the +2 ability on one of the opponent's things. So let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, let's just set one back. The opponent with two rare lands and get 2 lava runners. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough.
I'd like to stay out of this, but I'll fight if I learn some respect.
Learn some respect. If the opponent kills... If you kill her, though, I'm out of here. So the opponent just needs one more spell to deal with the Sky Dancer.
I guess I'll explore somewhere else.
So annoying. Alright. Wall of Runes. Come on down, get me a Scry, then we'll play a Winged Words. Do I need more land? Probably not. I think I'll draw enough using the 2 draw 2s that I have. So, it's a little aggressive, but I'm going to bottom that land. Alright. Things are happening. Things are happening. Wow. Just 100% removal and lava runners. It's old school tempo. We'll see if they can keep up in the long run. So what I like here is the Seer and then the Winged Words for 2 instead of the Wall of Runes. There we go. Because the sooner we play the Riddlemaster Sphinx, if the opponent doesn't have a good way to deal with it, it can take over the game, as it's just a lot larger than the Lava Runners. Okay, 2 cast downs now from the opponent. It's black-red, a couple of dorks, and all the removal they could find. Alright, let's go. Hope you don't have another cast down. Bouncing a Lava Runner isn't particularly effective. It has haste. Also, the opponent's been stuck on 3 lands, so we know that they have even more spells. Oh god. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Alright. We could steal one of these. I hate that play. I'll play this Wall of Runes. Let's scry this land to the bottom. Try to draw more action. Let's play this Spectral Sailor, and then Winged Words can draw 2 cards for 2 mana. And then another one, because why not? Holy cow. Well, I guess, you know, having the 1 mana Wall of Runes there, I can't complain too much. We'll keep you. And then next turn I could mass manipulate both Lava Runners. The opponent will at least have trouble hitting me in the face anymore. And if we draw Negate, we might be able to counter some burn spells. Just 100% removal spells in 2 creatures. It's so bizarre. I do think we need to block here. I think that trying to keep the Sailor alive is greedy. Unbelievable. So if we had let the 2 damage through, Wizard's Lightning to the face would have killed us. Let's at least get this done, though. Mine. Where would the opponent be in this game without the 2 Lava Runners? They're just 100% removal. Cavalier of Night. Okay, they don't have another creature, though. So that's fine. Let's get Jace to the battlefield. So, our opponent has a Cavalier Knight. When this dies, return target creature card with convert mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Right now, the opponent doesn't have any. If we mill them, they may get that value in the future. So I'm going to mill myself instead, which is something that a lot of people, for whatever reason, seem scared to do. But it is the right play a good amount of the time. Okay, found another Planeswalker, that's nice. Here's a Seer. Let's do things. We're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna pull this thing together. We now have all the stuff. Alright. Let's see if we can kill you with a whole bunch of blocks. If the opponent drew another removal spell to kill one of these at instant speed, then these will die, this will live, and that's very frustrating. But Sphinx can come down and bounce the cav. Okay, here we go. So does the opponent now have a Lava Runner to get back? They do. Not a big deal, though. I'll live with it. Now we could mill our opponent, I think. Chupa Dreadhorde Arcanist, huh? Let's play you. Make this an O2. Let's get some damage in with the Lava Runner. And let's play the Riddle Master. And decline. I don't want to bounce this. I want it to remain an O2. The opponent could play it for 1 red mana and it would have haste. That's a good draw. The 5/5 dies again. That's a good draw. Alright, let's go, Jace. Can mill you now, I think. Draw another card. Agent of Treachery. Yes! Alright, make the 4/4. Let's attack with the Lava Runner and see if the opponent will block. If they do, then I know I want to steal the other thing. Here we go. Agent of Treachery, give me your Lava Runner. Hold it off. Mono blue control. Our opponent has a cat. We saw it on the way in. You see it over there? That already means that they're not free to play. Not true free to play. We are the true free to play. And yeah, we'll try this hand out. It's got some play. It's got some stuff going on. We might negate something important. The Seer, the Dungeon Geist interacts with the creature. The Seer is value. Yep, we plenty to do. The opponent will lead on the Dimir Guildgate. And then comes a Dragon Skull Summit. So we already see like a 3-color Grixis deck in the works here. But we'll get our Sailor onto the battlefield. Our little Sailor. Start plinking away. Get in there. Our opponent has 2 mana available now. Let's see what they do with it. It's a Tormenting Voice discarding Niv Mizzet. Negating this is interesting. I think, our opponent could be playing a Reanimator deck, playing to get this back later, or they might just really need these cards. I think that I let them do this, which is pretty weird, but I'm going to gamble that their plan is to reanimate this later, or that they need a sweeper or something to keep our creatures from killing them, and the negate can do better in the future. Spectral Sailor's a great draw there. I'm not going for the Cloud Conceer now because I can hold up the negate, and I can play the Sailor to pump the Cutthroat and increase the clock. So you'll probably see me hold this Seer and this Dungeon Geist for a while, planning to protect what's on the board instead of just put more things onto the board. Black-Red Grixis decks are often very good at playing Area of Effect spells, killing all the creatures. Here comes a Thought Erasure. That is a good card to cast a negate on. Thought Erasure can take your best card from your hand, and in this case would just take the negate anyway. So it's better to not let them see what's in your hand, and not let them get the value of the Surveil to help them get their draw good. Get their draw being just perfectly right. We'll also play a Spectral Sailor to grow this even more. And now we'll slam in. Again, not playing these. Instead, I'll use the Sailor's ability to draw a card when the time comes. I do think the opponent might kill all my creatures. And that would be very sad. I prefer they didn't do that. Oh, I think we're seeing a reanimation spell. And it is Bond of Revival, returning Niv Mizzet to the battlefield. We'll draw a card with the Sailor. An unsummon would be very nice here. And the opponent will concede after reanimating Niv Mizzet. Seems like once you get your Niv Mizzet there, seems good. I doubt I'd concede in that spot. I don't know. But like I said, mono blue just annoys some people. Let's also, since we're working on, let's do a little test here. So Azure Skies, I kind of made it the control-y build. Control-y tempo build or something. So we'll call it control. Then let's duplicate it, and this will be more of a traditional Azure Skies, like all the flyers approach. So even in free-to-play, you can make choices with your cards that lead you down different directions. So this version, I'm going to try to have a quick flying army that's going to win the games for me. So I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of the flying creatures, and then we'll decide whether or not we have to make some changes and what to cut in those situations. But yeah, this is going to be more of, I think, what the designers intended, which is fast flying creatures. Let's get those into the deck. This flies, but I think it's too expensive for the effect. I mean, I love drawing cards as much as anybody when something enters the battlefield, so maybe it's okay, but I'm cynical. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Thunderdrake. If this were 3 mana, it would be great, but it's 4 mana. I love the art, though. Windstorm Drake is the one we really want to pump other creatures with flying. The air elementals are very powerful as well, so those can come in. I think that City Watch Sphinx is a lot worse than Riddlemaster Sphinx, so I'm going to stick with Riddle. And I don't know if I'm going to play the other steel cards or not. Let's see what we can cut. I like Negate to protect my creatures. The Cutthroat has Flash, but it doesn't have flying, and I'm going to be tapping out on my turn a lot to play flying creatures, so I don't think you fit in this version of the deck. In a similar vein, I don't know that Anticipate fits, because once again, I want to be playing things on my turn. So a lot of the card draw and card advantage cards don't quite fit in. Opt is easy to make fit in, but Anticipate's literally double the mana. So those are pretty hard to play. Jace, it's going to be hard for me to cut you. Just don't really want to. How about really expensive cards like Agent of Treachery? Probably not. Not when we're trying to end the game this quickly. The Mass Manipulation I might keep because it can bring me back from really weird situations. But Jace doesn't really fit this bill either. It's a value card, and I do have to cut it. Muse Drake is too weak. We discussed that a little bit, but I'm going to stick to that. The Metropolis Sprite and the Night Vale Sprites are some of my worst flyers, but is it better to have those? Also, this is only 1 mana for 1/1. If we had more of these, if we had 4 of them, for example, we might be able to draw extra cards, but in this case, not so much. I am wondering if I still want Wall of Runes to keep me alive while I'm beating the opponent up with my flyers, and I think it makes sense. If I had more 1-drop and 2-drop flyers, Wall of Runes wouldn't be necessary. I could race the opponent, but my deck is too slow to race. I'm really relying on these 3 and 5 mana flyers to do the job. I wonder if that's even going to work very well, to be honest. I'm cynical. So I'm going to cut these Night Vale Sprites. What else can I cut? I still have 4 more cards to go. I feel like I need the Wall of Runes. I feel like I need the Winged Words, the Wardens, the Dungeon Geists are great. Maybe Air Elemental is one of the less good cards. As strong as it can be. How many creatures do we actually run here? 25 is a pretty high number for this deck. Alright, I'm going to trim you. Do I need 4 Wall of Runes, though? Seems like I always want some of them, but do I need 4? Probably not. I can at least trim something here. How about anybody else? Need a trim? Maybe the Drake just isn't it. Yeah. We'll go to 2 Wall of Runes and see how it plays. If we're getting run over all the time, we just need more. Also, maybe I can cut a land because we've got the Wardens. Yeah, let's try that. The Wardens should make these 5-drops into 4-drops and this 6-drop into a 5-drop some amount of the time. This Mass Manipulation also just may be too slow. As much as I love it, I think it is too slow. We're trying to speedily slam our opponent in the air, even though we don't have 2-drops. So it's very much a mid-range flyer deck, but we can try it. There's nothing wrong with trying some different builds of your decks. Okay, this looks like the kind of hand we're looking for. An early defender, a Warden into a Windstorm Drake to put a clock on the opponent and try to win in the air. And it's our arch nemesis, green. Blue and green are enemies. I do not need another land. I have plenty of those here. Paradise Druid, so turn 2 rare hexproof creature. Oh boy. Dungeon Geist is a nice draw though. This can tap down a creature and keep it tapped down while providing a flying body. Not that creature though. That creature is too strong. I'm probably going to have to bounce it with the Unsummon at some point, so I don't want to use the Unsummon here on the Paradise Druid. But our opponent played a mythic rare 6/6 Nullhide Ferox Beast, which is probably going to smash us up pretty brutally. And there's a Ghalta. Yeah, this is not a game. Our opponent's only played mythics and rares, so we don't really have a chance here. I'm going to take this hit from the Ferox, try to decide what to block with my runes here in a minute. Dungeon Geist can tap down the Ghalta. Windstorm Drake could come down, and that would just kind of not do much. So, yeah, it's the Dungeon Geist tapping Ghalta down, and then Unsummon will just have to wait. So, lock you down. Let's start getting damage in. We're going to have to turn this race around somehow. Don't panic, team. What is this, 7 damage? Oh no. Okay. Well, that's amazing. Like, that's a perfect draw. It has reach, and it can fight a flying creature when it enters the battlefield, and I don't have a way to boost this. So I have to save it with my Unsummon just to have it for a future turn. I mean, yeah, this is an embarrassing match, but this is gonna happen. This is some of the effect. This is some of the free-to-play experience. Say what you will about it, it's true. So, I don't think there's much to unsummon here. I'm still hoping to activate this. If you pay 2, it loses the ability, and then you can bounce it. The opponent GG's me. That's really rude. That's not very kind. So let's play Winged Words and get 2 more cards. Sadness. Attacking here is a bad attack. The Harpooner can block. And they're still not done. They're still not done. They have a rare Voracious Hydra that's going to fight our Dungeon Geist and abolish it. Alright. Not a lot to be done there. Or was I supposed to attack? Attacking might be one of my quests. But yeah, that's a mismatch. And there's a lot of those games in free-to-play. It's just kind of the way it goes.
You did it! I'm so proud of you.
Holy crap! I just hit a level. This is weird. I was just in a bad game, which I'm going to cut, and I had just turned off the recorder because I was getting absolutely smashed. I did nothing in the game. The opponent, just smashed me. And I just received all these decks. I'm kind of confused that I got 3 decks, 500 gold, and a pack from losing this game. But the collection's growing. Okay, so the opponent... So the way that it must work is there's a timer on this, right? If you reach a certain level, they just give you everything, so you don't have to put it into the tree.
I'll be around if you want to practice a new deck. But from now on, you'll have to battle other players to earn rewards.
Or, okay, it's just the end of this reward track.
You were amazing. But now, the whole multiverse will know. Bye. You know where to find me.
Okay. Well, sweet. That was nice. So that is, you get to mastery level 25, and then you're done and you get all the things. Okay, I get it now. Meanwhile, over here, we have these orbs to fill out. We have 11 of them. And, oh, I guess they're the other decks. They're the enemy color decks, so they're not the same decks you get here. That is awesome. That is good to know. So We've got this pack. We can open it in the next video, give you a reason to come back. In the meantime, I'm still trying to find like a good matchup, a good game for the Azure Skies deck. I am really excited about these other decks that I've received, and we're going to cover each of those and tuning them in a separate video and discuss what's in the deck and what to do with it. And for today, I'm going to try one more time, or a few more times, to get a good matchup with this mono blue Flyers. Alright, a couple of walls will hopefully hold off the opponent who has paid. These are pay-to-play sleeves, by the way. They put it... yeah. Anyway, they've also got a cat. We're going to... when you look at the cosmetics and know immediately you're going to lose... You get this feeling in real Magic too, just in case some of you didn't know. You can sit down across the table from somebody and they have their playmat showing that they're the Great Lakes regional champion, and they have like 17 pins on it showing their top 8s at every Pro Tour event ever. And they have their triple sleeved, quad sleeved deck that's 100 miles high and takes them half an hour to shuffle. That's 100% foils. So that experience... Let's all give Wizards some credit. They found a way to transfer that experience to a digital, potentially free-to-play game. They must be so proud. Alright, I'm not excited seeing the opponent open without kind of an aggressive slant. When you have 2 Wall of Runes, that's pretty scary, because, yeah, if they're a control deck, these Wall of Runes don't do anything. Alright, we'll go for the Sailor. There is an argument for holding the Sailor back and trying to play it later, when we can draw a card with it, because we might need that value, but I'm just going to be super aggressive and hope for the best. Whatever the opponent's got coming, I'm guessing it's a Jade Light Ranger or something. Like, why do you keep a hand that's this slow? Let's see. We know they must have something up their sleeve. The opponent's deciding what to kill. Okay. Or they're just being, they're just trying to be flashy. Cry the Canarium killed both of my creatures. But Cloud Conceer, and we have 2 unsummons to save the Cloud Conceer if we need to. And Mu Yan Lang. I'm curious if the opponent will be able to do anything about that. Chromatic Lantern lets the opponent's lands tap for any color. That's kind of exciting. Who knows what they'll be up to. Beat you up with a Cloud Conceer. Play Mew. Now we don't have a creature. We can do this just to be funny. Look, it's a -2. But yeah, we don't need to target anything with that ability. You can just click not to target. I like doing silly things in Magic sometimes. Tamiyo. Alright. Our opponent's on some kind of combo Planeswalker deck.
Let me aid your research.
Bond of Revival. So it's a Reanimator deck? That could be good, as we can unsummon some things. But it might be an Agent of Treachery, which, well, we'll see. We'll just see. Let's not try to overthink it yet. I guess I play you so that the Windstorm Drake can be online soon. Hope to dodge another Cry of the Canarium.
Ride the winds to victory.
I'm trying to ride the winds to victory. Do I need to tag down the Tamiyo? It can get back a Kaya's Wrath, which I think is a good reason.
Oh, violence is impolite.
Violence is impolite? Sweet. Oh, not getting back the Kaya's Wrath.
Seek and find.
Still looking for Bond of Revival, with no creatures in the graveyard yet. It's all control. Right, let's return the Cloud Conceer to our hand, because it gets some value. But now all the creatures die. No target here.
Do not challenge a raging river.
Draw another card. We could play the Winged Words now. I think we will, instead of holding up the Unsummon. My goodness. My goodness.
To the library.
It's really digging. We're almost halfway through the deck without a Bond of Revival. And no creatures in the graveyard, I'd like to also add. That's kind of weird. Alright. Let's play you. Play you. Boost you up. Tag you so that if you activate again, to minus, it kills you.
My scrolls.
And I'm going to plus the Mew. I'm going to plus Mew. I could do something cheeky. Let's just turn my Windstorm Drake down to a 1 power creature for fun. Make it lose flying. Oh, goodness. Just because I like doing weird stuff. It also might give the opponent the idea that I'm just terrible at Magic. Sometimes putting that out there can win you some bonus points if they play sloppy. But mostly I do it to amuse myself and others. Homebound Lich, huh? Draw a card, then discard a card. This thing has lifelink and death touch, and it does the draw discard thing. Okay. Cry the Canarium. Our opponent's deck is all sweepers. All sweepers and nonsense. Now there's a reanimator component somewhere, but we don't know where yet. We haven't seen it.
I think you will find my note helpful.
Still no creatures. Still naming Bond of Revival. I think the idea here might be a Multani one-shot kill. I'm ready for that if that's the case. Multani has power and toughness equal to number of lands in play and in graveyards. Does Tamiyo freaking die? Freaking die, Tamiyo. Thank you. All right.
Question this outcome.
Do you now? So, the opponent only gets 4 Kai's Wraths, 3 are in the graveyard, and there's 2 Cry of the Canarium. They can't run that many more sweepers. They just discarded a Cry, though, which makes me think they have 1 more sweeper. So, I'm going to hold back the Warden. That might be a mistake, but this is a 2-turn clock without the Warden, and it's not a 1-turn clock with it. 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right. So, I think holding this back makes sense. Here we go again.
I would like to test a new hypothesis with you.
I'd like to crush you. How about that? Get back to Kaya's Wrath.
No
Yeah.
card should be discarded.
Well, now we know what's happening next turn. No blocks. Obviously, the Death Touch makes it very not worth it. So the opponent gets this sweet loot. They drop off Itali, the Primal Storm, so that's their Reanimator card. Chart, of course, will draw them 2 more cards. That's fine. We'll plus over here.
The sky is
Too many land. Alright, you must die. These go to your face.
All stories must end.
Indeed. So next turn we'll be able to play the Cloud Conceer that we're going to bounce with the Unsummon. The Warden... Oh, okay. You attacking me with the -1 powered creature? You got it. Pew! That didn't do nothing. Alright, Unsummon my Seer. I know that not having the Unsummon now makes me a lot worse against Bond of Revival. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Ah, yes. Alright, so Warden, Cloud Conceer, draw a card. There's another Drake. We could play it this turn. I think we'll just play it next turn. I think that would produce a lethal attack. It would produce an exactly lethal attack. So let's pass the turn and hide the Drake. Let's hope the opponent goes for Bond of Revival here. We can use Unsummon to bounce the Itali. Here we go. Please don't have your last Kaya's Wrath. Please let me steal this game somehow. So frustrating. Why do I play Magic? It's such a brutal game. Alright, you're still on the ropes, opponent. We'll just submit 0 to show we know how that works. Gonna hold this. The opponent might decide to play around something. It might make them nervous. Yes! That's the game. That's the game. overall, I do enjoy the Azure Skies deck, but not nearly as much as the Control deck. However, pretty happy, and I don't think I would have won it without my mythic rare that I was lucky enough to open early, the Sky Dancer. So I don't really think this deck is nearly as good as taking it in a more controlling strategy and using things like Agent of Treachery, Mass Manipulation. Just trying to play a value and card draw and card selection game. So I like this a lot better, but it's probably because I have a Jace and 2 Mew Yanlings too. Planeswalkers add a lot of value grind to your deck, so... also, I could probably try to fit Augur in here, but I think I have too many creatures. Yeah, 19 creatures and only 8 instants and 5 sorceries. Not really good for Augur. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of CG Covert Go Free, the free-to-play account action. That's going to do it for this episode of Covert Go Free. We checked out the blue deck. We built 2 different versions, one on a control slant, which suits my playstyle more, and the other for kind of a Skies variant. We also unlocked a whole bunch of new decks, so we still have a mastery tree to complete and a whole bunch of new decks to examine and upgrade. The Orzhov Syndicate, Izzet League, House Dimir, Boros Legion, Golgari Swarm, and Simic Combine are all decks we hit in Mastery level 25, so the grind pays off. We also have the new, well, actually House Dimir was one that we unlocked with the Mastery Tree, which we'll be checking out in the near future. Please leave me a comment. What deck do you want me to examine next? Should it be the Syndicate, the Izzet League, the House Dimir, the Boros Legion, the Simic Combine, the Golgari Swarm, Forest Smite, or Angelic Army? Which way should I go next in the Mastery Tree as we continue to tune and unlock all the different decks, and then on our path to crafting some competitive decks and heading to the ladder? Leave me a comment and let me know. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe to show your support for the free-to-play content here on the channel. I would love for Covert Go Free to be a regular series with updated videos more than once a week. Hopefully, I would do it daily if it had enough traction and enough action. So your subscribes make a difference. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next Covert Go Free video.